So I don't want to just come here and completely disagree with the mystery, like scarcity building like leverage for artists, because it's true. But then also you have to understand we are in a different time, and the whole scarcity idea only works for super established artists, like like real like
That's what,
established
yeah.
art, like Frank Ocean level of artists, you know what I mean?
Adele and them.
And that is like the top 5%. For the rest of everybody,
You
right?
have
to be there.
You have to build the world for yourself. That's what, and I struggle with that as well. Let me be transparent. When I started doing music, I haven't released as much music as I would have wanted to, because it's not because I'm trying to be mysterious or scarcity. It's just
Social media isn't your game.
exactly, and but I don't believe in that now. Like, after really doing a little bit of research and stuff, I don't believe that social media is not anyone's game, because you can play. Social media is a blank slate, and you can really use it for what you want to.
That's so profound. Like, I think the best way to do anything is just to be your own, like, authentic self. And then there's just going to be other people who gravitate to you based off of that.
True.
So you don't have to come up with this whole ass persona for social media, because ultimately that becomes detrimental when you have to keep that up also in your real life interactions with fans and stuff like that. It becomes horrible.
But the problem is people don't gravitate towards regular lives.
Yes, they do.
People don't gravitate towards regular lives. It's only once in a while where we see the guy, come with me on my boring life, and that gets views.
No, this is the thing though. Like, social media has completely shifted. So this girl who has been talking, I feel like her perspective is really very outdated, and it's a very Gen X / millennial perception.
Oh, that's how.
That's a tradition, by the way. That always happens.
It's crazy. Sorry.
Anyway, I was saying, like, and I mentioned this in an earlier podcast. We have always been used to just being the end product, the end of the line when it comes to like how we
the artist or the consumer?
The consumer.
Okay.
We've always been used to, and now in the Gen Z age, right? It's the, and also millennial age, to be honest. It's been a thing where, okay, you're part of the process. You're able to consume, or not consume, but you're able to interact with the people who
identify
we
with
listen
them.
to, or even who we watch on screen. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Social media has shifted where you had to have this persona of being untouchable to where, okay, wait, let me be more. And that's why there was a time way back in the day. I say way back in the day, like 6 years ago, when
6 years is not way back.
when these big A-list celebrities, all of them, all of a sudden wanted to start YouTube channels or start podcasts.
And we don't only see that in music; we see it in sports. Like, guys like Erling Haaland just going and drinking tea on freaking TikTok,
or doing collaboration YouTube like things with the sidemen. Like, nowadays, it feels like these guys are more accessible. And it's because people are tired. People are jaded by the whole, oh, I'm a celebrity, I will never be seen.
Because back then, I mean, I don't know how true this is, but then from what we see, it looks like the labels and PR for an artist was be as little of yourself as possible. And then we're going to curate whatever personality works best for the music, and then you're going to do that.
Isn't that horrible, though? It's so horrible.
It is. But that was when people became stars. The Michael Jacksons, when guys started popping off back then. Your individual self,
so completely separate from your.
Not only that, it almost feels like your individual selves. Yeah, it's very separate from who you are. That's because I think they felt like your individual self hinders getting to the money. You know, and so what do we think is going to get to the money the best? And so this is a PR, this is the image you're going to get. Some of those images are completely false, but then they are very muted, very limited, very chill. And what we are seeing these days is, I think a lot of people are more interested in, I want you to like me for me and and the world I'm building. and it's also, I think, because
and the niche interests I have.
yeah, and that's because I think, and this I think is a good thing that's happening is a lot of artists are taking, even if you're signed to like a big label, them pushing you to post and to do all this stuff on TikTok is sometimes it might be good, sometimes it might be bad. But then I think it's good because a lot of artists are taking more control over their narratives. And so hopping on X and saying, hey, listen, this is how I'm feeling, or I like pistachio smoothies or whatever you like. Is like pistachio smoothies is so pretentious. I like water. Is fun because people get to see you for who you are. Now, we don't know what the data is. If you're talking about data, right? We don't know what the data is in terms of whether this works just as well as what people, how artists were curated back in the day. Like, we don't know. This is all we have to see. So that's kind of, who do
No,
we
we
believe?
know, we know,
Who
we
do we
know.
believe
No,
in
no,
this?
we
Do we
actually
believe the
know.
consumer, or do we believe the artist in this situation?
Oh, no, but okay. First, I want to say, like, we've had so many examples of artists who start off as one thing, and then over time they really just become more of who they actually are. And there's always a friction or a pushback between the artist and their management.
Yeah.
When the creative differences and things like that happens when somebody develops their own sense of, like, once they're able to, like, feel they're established in their field and feel like they don't have to rely on all these smoke and mirrors that the various industries
Curated perceptions.
have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, then it's like, you know what, I just want to be myself. We see that with people like J. Cole, who, just grew out his dreads.
Now
and
the skeptics will say, "Oh, that's a
No,
persona you're
I
putting."
think that's who he always has been.
Exactly, it's very authentic, and you can see the ones that are authentic, and you can see the ones that are really trying to be authentic.
Or like Bien, and how funny he genuinely is, and how he goes back and forth
But you
with
see,
people on
exactly.
on,
But
on
if you meet
social
Bien, that's how he
media.
is in real life.
That's exactly.
just genuinely
I've met him,
who
and
he is.
it's just this. That's how he is.
Yeah.
But some people are not that good with social media, and so maybe for them, the being more, like, behind the scenes, or not doing too much is the move. So really, it's like, it's for me personally, every artist is not, there's no, like, one formulaic way to do artist marketing or,
Yeah.
or brand management for an artist. You have to leverage on who this person is. If they're this person, then you amplify that based off of who they are. If it's Afam and he loves, like, gaming or gaming content and that kind of stuff, right? Then that's what we need to do. Let's find a way for him to create content based and around that, and even based around the things he becomes interested in as he grows.
Yeah.
Because people's tastes also change, like, as they grow as human beings.
Yeah.
The best thing is to do that, because, like, once you get into that rut of, like, building false personas, keeping it up, it becomes very, very mentally taxing. And so just let our artists be who they are, is what I'm trying to say.
And then when you say people, I think people's tastes change. I think definitions also change. And by that, I mean, back then, being being open and visible and accessible meant something different for an artist. And mysteriousness meant also something different back then. Being mysterious meant that you were still relevant, that you were still, like, people don't know who you are, they don't see you. So these days, those two things have changed in terms of being visible and being active and present, in terms of present with your fans, like on whatever platform or however you choose to be, means that you care and that you're trying to be authentic, while being mysterious means different. I'm trying to think about what being mysterious these days would mean for an artist.
It's just being very, like, minimalistic with your social media perception. Also, the interviews that you give out, whether it's for publications or, like, radio shows and stuff like that. Like Beyonce. When is the last time you saw Beyonce just do, like, a regular press run?
When's the last time you saw Beyonce do anything?
Yeah,
apart from show up in Taylor Swift's wedding and
or it's
basketball
a
games.
brand deal with something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately for me, I don't enjoy when that happens, because then the artist doesn't feel like a human being anymore.
You've mentioned brand deals, which I think is another aspect. See, like a Beyonce wouldn't want to, if she knows that every time she steps out she makes X amount of money. She's not going to step out all the time, because you need to create that scarcity so that whoever comes to you with the bag next
So at that,
is like, hey, there's this many people are going to flock to see you, and it's because you've not been around. So now she and her team has the incentive to keep bags
So
are not
at-
being thrown around like that.
no, but so you
The regular artist is not getting that bag.
But that's not necessarily true. There's people who are very saturated in terms of how we perceive them, and they get hella bags. Look at the streaming world. Look at people like Speed. Their essence is out there, but then those guys get to the
Streaming is a
money.
different game though, because streaming is, first of all,
But we're
streaming is
talking
new,
about
and
the
streaming.
entertainment business.
No, yeah, but streaming is a different model, because streaming hasn't had the previous what do you call it, of people being inaccessible. Music has.
So that's what I'm trying to say is, this is the world we exist in, and therefore we need to break down those walls that we've built up for ourselves.
Yeah. I still think artists
It's
could
possible.
be mysterious, and there's still value in that. And it's not for everyone.
Yes, there is.
It's like the 1%, it would work for 1% of you. And the problem with that is your personality has to be useful enough for that mysteriousness to contribute to it. People think that people make being mysterious their personality.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to be outside, I'm not going to say anything. And so now we're just trying to starting to say a lot. It's a shift. It's a social media shift. Unfortunately, this has been driven, I think, by social media and how marketing has changed.
Yeah.
In terms of that, but it's all the same thing.
I actually want to